On August the 6th, 1945, at 8:15 a.m., the first atomic bomb used in warfare exploded over the Japanese city of Hiroshima. In an instant, thousands of lives were taken. Entire neighborhoods were wiped out, and the course of history was forever changed. But the story of Hiroshima goes beyond that moment. It stretches forward into years of silent suffering, loss, and strength shown by the people who survived, those known as the Hibakusha. Today, we explore the human side of one of the darkest chapters in history and the scars, both visible and invisible, that have lasted for generations. Hiroshima wasn't just a target. It was a thriving city, home to families, children, businesses, and schools. It was alive with the everyday bustle that you'd see in any modern city today. On the morning of August 6th, the people of Hiroshima woke up, went to work, attended school, just as they did every other day. And just like that, life as they knew it changed forever. When the bomb exploded, the temperature at ground zero was hotter than the surface of the sun. Buildings, trees, and people, anything within about a 1-mile radius, were simply obliterated. The air itself became a weapon, tearing through structures and bodies alike. In that instant, around 70,000 people lost their lives. But what about those who survived? Those who somehow found themselves alive in the midst of total destruction? They would soon come to know that surviving was just the beginning of their struggle. The survivors were left to navigate a landscape that was nearly unrecognizable, like something out of a nightmare. Entire families were separated, and many people wandered aimlessly, searching for loved ones, unsure if they were alive or dead. The shock and trauma were overwhelming. People had lost everything: their homes, their families, their sense of safety. But as days turned into weeks, they faced a new silent enemy: radiation. At the time, no one fully understood what radiation was, but the symptoms soon became clear. Burns that wouldn't heal, hair falling out, people suddenly growing weak with no clear explanation. This mysterious illness haunted the survivors, and in many cases, the effects of radiation poisoning claimed more lives than the blast itself. Many Hibakusha, the survivors of Hiroshima and later Nagasaki, were left with physical scars that told only part of the story. The psychological wounds were equally deep. For many of these survivors, they weren't just dealing with the trauma of that day, but with a lasting stigma. People in Japan feared that the Hibakusha carried radioactive contamination. Some were shunned by society, treated as outcasts, even when they tried to rebuild their lives. But over the years, Hiroshima transformed from a scene of total destruction to a city of resilience and hope. Today, visitors to Hiroshima's Peace Memorial Park and the Genbaku Dome, left standing as a reminder, can reflect on the devastating power of nuclear weapons. For the Hibakusha, the park is more than a memorial. It's a testament to their courage and an echo of their stories. The story of Hiroshima became part of a global conversation on peace and the dangers of nuclear warfare. Each year, thousands visit the Peace Memorial to remember what happened on that day, and millions of paper cranes are placed there in memory of Sadako Sasaki, a young survivor who became a symbol of peace. The atomic bombing of Hiroshima was, at its core, a military decision intended to end a brutal war. But it did something far beyond that. It changed the very nature of warfare. The power to obliterate an entire city in seconds changed the way nations saw conflict. No longer would wars be fought just between soldiers. Now, civilians, entire populations, could be in the crosshairs. Today, Hiroshima stands as a vibrant city, but it hasn't forgotten. The Hibakusha still share their stories, hoping that others will understand the horror of nuclear war, so that no other city will ever have to endure what they did. As we listen to these stories, we're reminded of the fragility of peace and the need for compassion and understanding, even in times of conflict. Hiroshima's story is a haunting one, filled with unimaginable pain and resilience. It's a lesson, a reminder, and a call to ensure that no community, no family, no person ever experiences that kind of devastation again. So when you see the paper cranes or hear the story of the Hibakusha, remember their message. Hiroshima is not just history. It's a voice from the past, warning us to protect the future. In memory of the Hibakusha and all who lost their lives, may we remember, may we choose peace.